Hello and welcome to another episode of Scott Reads Comics. Today we'll be covering The Death of Captain Marvel, a Jim Starlin masterpiece collected in this slim little volume, which I got a while back. And we're going to have a great time with this one today. It's one of my favorite stories. I think it's one of the best single stories ever produced in Marvel Comics. Just fantastic. So we'll go on here through, and this isn't just the Marvel graphic novel, The Death of Captain Marvel, which was one of Marvel's first forays into the graphic novel format. This collection also includes a couple of other key issues surrounding the death of Captain Marvel, and the first one, which I'm going to go through here, is Captain Marvel number 34. The first appearance of Nitro, and including the outcome of a very fateful battle between Captain Marvel and Nitro in this one. And that's a fantastic Starlin cover there. So yeah, we can tell by the date here that this one was 1974. 25-cent price tag on the original. The sensational Captain Marvel with Jim Starlin doing everything except dialogue, Steve Englehart, inking Jack Abel, lettering Tom Orzechowski, editing Roy Thomas. So Starlin does the plot, the pencils, and the colors in this one. He was a very excellent colorist and colored his stuff on and off throughout the years, including some of his great Warlock stories. So I'm not going to read every part of this issue, but we're going to kind of go through it and look at the events leading up to this battle here between Captain Marvel and Nitro. We can see here that Nitro's come for Compound 13. You're crazy, Hunchback. You haven't even got a weapon. I don't need a weapon, soldier. I've got me. So pretty amazing panel here where Nitro literally explodes. And Carol Danvers is one of the people here on the sidelines. This is before she becomes Ms. Marvel. Carol Danvers lies stunned, a discarded ragdoll among tumbled toy soldiers. And the last thing she sees before her eyelids slide shut almost looks like a man form reforming. In comprehension, perhaps, she is spared the sight of the armored truck crashing out, under the command of a man unmarked and unharmed. No one can stop me, no one. So eventually what happens is Nitro gets into, by chance, a car accident with Rick and his companions. And we can see here that Rick decides he's going to take them on by himself. Somebody owes me some new transportation. Fantastic. The only guy in miles runs us down and then comes looking for revenge. Better trade arms with me, Rick. So here, Rick shares a body with Captain Marvel at this time. So right now, Captain Marvel's in the negative zone. No, Marv, I ain't copping out of any fight. Not after the way Dandy's been sneering at me. Besides, she and Mordecai would see the change. Ah, my good man, how wonderful to see you looking so well. I'm delighted to inform you that I have no fault insurance. So, and plock, Nitro just knocks him out. So Rick makes an ill-fated attempt to try to take him on and completely fails. So we see Rick Jones here making the fateful transformation. And since the creep's pulling Dandy's full attention, and since my jaw's not as tough as my mouth, katang, he's all yours, Marv. So Captain Marvel here gets into the action. But he quickly finds out in this awesome sequence of panels that Nitro is just no mere thug. And this double page spread here is nothing short of amazing. Just really incredible artwork here from Starlin and inker Jack Abel. Al Milgrom inked some of Jim Starlin during this series and eventually took over the art chores when Starlin left. So for a second, I thought this was an Al Milgrom page, but it's Jack Abel, and he's awesome. Aware. That was how Eon phrased it. Captain Marvel is aware. Even as all hell exploded in front of his face, he was hurling his Kree-bred body away, cresting the shockwave, surviving. So that's a great explanation of how Captain Marvel's cosmic awareness works. It's like a souped-up version of Spider-Man's spider sense. And he is also aware that he is not the only survivor, as the tendrils of dust twined together before him, aware that the foreboding he felt at Nitro's approach was entirely justified, as the congealing gray masses twist into solidity, aware and wary. But he strikes back here, and they have a pretty great fight as it plays out here. He tries to blow him up again, reforming here. I don't know who you're talking to, man, but you're lying to him. Another great wordless panel here. Very well done. Great use of color here by Starlin as well on this one. So Nitro seemingly knocks Marvel unconscious, gathers up this Compound 13 canister, and speeds off in the stolen car. So here's Carol Danvers showing up belatedly to the battle. All right, good Lord, it's Captain Marvel. Captain, I haven't seen you since you saved me from that madman Yonrog. I haven't had the chance. That was all the way back in issue 18. Carol, excuse me, but I'm not important at the moment. You're right, of course, you're right. Compound 13 is all that matters now. Compound 13, are you saying it's more dangerous than Nitro? Yes, Compound 13 is the ultimate achievement of biological research, the final nerve gas, instant death. The compound in that tank, if released at this spot, would destroy every living thing in the state of Indiana. Enough of it could depopulate the planet in a day. But Carol Danvers is talking to a whipping wind and a glittering golden haze. Captain Marvel is gone, soaring toward his prey. Nitro looks in the mirror. No, it can't be. It is. You never learn, creep. And he explodes again. Reforms, and then they have a really cool battle sequence here where they're slugging it out. And Captain Marvel is superhumanly strong. So Nitro, although I don't know if his strength is really clearly delineated in any Marvel Universe entry, he seems to be able to slug it out with superhumanly strong foes. So here is the kicker, how they deduce how they can get rid of him. Captain Marvel can't stop him, but perhaps Rick Jones can. Holy crud, Marvel. What in the world are you doing? I can't leapfrog out of this dude's range. I don't want you to, Rick. What? Nitro is too powerful to surrender. But his is not ultimate power. He must have limitations. And so our sole hope of keeping Compound 13 is to take Nitro beyond his limitations. Now, as he explodes, touch your wristbands. Boom! So we can see here, the blast rumbles farmhouses 10 miles away and tosses Carol Danvers head over heels. A steady rain of crumbling debris pelts the dust-choked countryside, and in the midst of it, a figure rises. Whose? And Compound 13 continues to leak. But then, this tableau finds its meaning as the figure steps from the smoke and grimly reaches for the tank. Marv, we made it. Yes, Rick. But Nitro didn't. Like so many before him, he couldn't cope with too much power. If only I could have thought of another way. There was no other way, man. Keep your mind on the job at hand. Close off that gas. What? Oh. Good work, Marv. But are you all right? You don't sound very together. Hey, you can withstand that gas, can't you? I mean, Marv, you can withstand that gas, can't you? Great panel sequence here of Marvel collapsing. The sun is setting on the horizon of our world, and in the negative zone, Rick Jones feels his one chance of ever seeing the sun again slowly cease to breathe. So that would be resolved in the next issue. The next comic collected in this slim graphic novel trade paperback is Marvel Spotlight on Captain Marvel #1. And I think this was material that was slated to be in Captain Marvel's regular series, but was then shunted to Marvel Spotlight because Captain Marvel's series was canceled. So this has a Doug Monetch script and Pat Broderick and Bruce Patterson art. It's okay. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I'm not super wild about Pat Broderick's Captain Marvel work, even though I really do like Pat Broderick artwork, generally speaking. I'm just not a huge fan of his Captain Marvel stuff. It's good, though. Love this effect here on his Cosmic Awareness. Drax is in this one, which is cool, as well as Star Fox and Alar's mentor of Titan. So I think they included this one because this kind of is a bridge between Marvel's work on Earth and the fact that he starts the graphic novel, The Death of Captain Marvel, on Titan. So this kind of, these two issues, there's a second issue here, these two issues will allow us to place Captain Marvel in context on Titan. Yeah, so he's battling some of these other cosmic characters. Isaac, Titan's supercomputer, has gone mad, and so Captain Marvel has to help Star Fox, Arrows at the time, and mentor his father and Thanos' father, solve the problem and tame Isaac, which they do. So now we're at the main event of our story here, and we get a great representation of the Death of Captain Marvel's original cover when it was Marvel graphic novel, and it at the time was pretty great. It was an almost magazine-sized book for $5.95, full color, and this one's by Jim Starlin. Colored by Steve Oliff, whose colors are gorgeous in this. Lettered by Jim Novak. Edited by Al Milgrom. Editor-in-Chief Jim Shooter. Jim Starlin does everything else on this one. Pencils, inks, writing. I'm going to read this little introduction because it's pretty cool from Al Milgrom from '82. In introduction, little need be said of Captain Marvel. His life has been spent playing the role of warrior. When he realized the limitations inherent in such a life, he showed the greatest courage in his warrior's heart, the courage to change, and he sought a path of peace. It was the path of circumstances seldom allowed him to follow. But the desire was there. Let us hope that where his path now leads him, he will at last find peace. I thank Jim Starlin, perhaps the man most closely associated with our Kree captain, for his extraordinary portrayal of Marvel's adventures, including this, his last. Pretty great. The Death of Captain Marvel. I was born Mar-Vell, a son of the Kree Empire. On Earth, my name fell victim to an alien tongue, and I became known as Marvel, Captain Marvel. The following is a journal of my life since I left Kree-Lar, my adventures, my victories, my mistakes. My hope in recording this mini autobiography is that it may prove of some use to those I leave behind. Great opening page here, and we get a nice vehicle, Mar-Vell recording this to give us the backstory. If we didn't know the character before we picked up this graphic novel, we have this beautiful sequence of panels that give us his history. I'll pick up here where he goes a little cosmic. I swore then I would defend them against my homeworld's dark appetite. He's talking about Earth here, defending Earth against Kree-Lar. So he becomes a traitor to his own people to save the planet Earth. So the old Captain Marvel died, and the new Captain Marvel was born. I became Earth's cosmic protector, and eventually aided my new homeworld in ridding itself of the threat of the evil Kree Empire. But the Kree were not the only stellar race that coveted Earth's natural riches. Time and again, I was called upon to save my adopted home. I was greatly aided in this task by a being named Eon, who granted me the power of cosmic awareness. So the years passed, and with them passed what seemed like an endless line of villains and would-be conquerors. I began to tire. Fortunately, in recent years, others of great power have come along to relieve me in this eternal battle of good versus evil. Of late, I've been enjoying a state of semi-retirement on Titan, a satellite of Saturn. So here are Mentor and Eros. Mentor is the father of Thanos, Eros the brother. I had to battle Mentor's other son, the evil Thanos. He easily proved himself the most dangerous foe I ever faced. In fact, Thanos is the reason for this voyage. During our last conflict, Thanos was killed, turned to stone. He had sought to destroy our entire solar system as a sacrifice to death. His end was grim but fitting. Marvel, we're almost there. Say, what are you up to back here? Just doing a little recording. I'm preparing an audio file of my life and adventures for the Avengers and other Earth superheroes. You're kind of young to be writing your memoirs, aren't you? Perhaps, but you never know. So Eros is wondering here. Nice wordless panel here where Eros suspects maybe something's going on here. So they travel to Thanos' old ship to figure out what's going on with the remains of Thanos, who was turned to stone. It all happened here in these darkened halls. The blackness of oblivion nearly claimed us all. But at the last moment, a golden warrior saved us, so the light shines and life continues. But all conflict has its price. This time, it cost the universe the life of one of its heroes, Adam Warlock. It cost you a son. Great shot here in this almost full-page panel of the three of these very powerful individuals, almost in awe of Thanos' petrified form. He died encased in stone, as hard as his own heart. By the Great Spirit, I had no idea it was like this. Thank you, Father, for allowing us to take my brother's body from this place. Thanos was a villain. His crimes have besmirched the honor of Titan forever. His fate was just. But he was my son, and I cannot allow him to spend eternity entombed here, no matter what he did. We will return his body to Titan and the royal crypt. This platform wasn't here last time I was here. It looks like almost like an altar. So then Captain Marvel's enhanced senses warn everyone of danger coming, as Thanos' cult-like followers have not completely departed. Die, infidels! Suddenly, the trio is surrounded. But surrounding citizens of Titan is one thing. Killing such men is another matter, for Titans deal in power. The battle rages on. Father and son now down their attackers with devastating precision. Then the unexpected happens. Two raiders in jetpacks soar into the hall. It's obvious that the two Titans are too preoccupied with matters at ground level to defend themselves from the imminent airborne assault. By Hela, I had hoped to sit this fight out, but I guess the fates just aren't going to allow it. Really nice action sequences. Jim Starlin is a great fight choreographer. I mean, he's got a lot of big ideas. There's a lot of crazy, trippy, cosmic stuff in his books. But I think I pointed this out when I went over his Warlock stuff. Those 2 issues of Warlock Special Edition I did on the show. Check those out if you're interested in more Starlin goodness. The man can really choreograph a comic book battle very well, and it's demonstrated here again. So Marvel leaps into action here, taking these 2 raiders out in a feat of strength and athleticism and power that he's known for. Unlike Mentor and Eros, I can sense just exactly how much force is needed to accomplish my goal. That way, I end up with unconscious but unbroken and living foes. So even now, he is trying to walk this path of peace in his semi-retirement. And it's really a thoughtful touch on Starlin's part to kind of, in this last Captain Marvel story, to reinforce the fact that he is a reluctant hero, in the sense that he doesn't embrace the wanton violence that's often called for in that job. Of course, my Kree battle training and photonic powers make it a lot easier for me than for most folks. There aren't any around who can dodge a laser blast, shot fired at point-blank range like this. But for that matter, who in their right mind would want to? So again, dropping another assailant, and finally, the battle is over. Settle down, little fellow. Don't force me to slam you against a wall, Warlock says as he grabs this little guy here. Very cool. All right, that's Eros who grabs the little guy. And here we get a sign that something's not quite right. Ooh, I'm afraid the easy life is catching up with me. This sort of melee is getting to be too much for me. Well, you can relax if you like, but I want to find out what this ambush was all about. I think I see someone still conscious who's big enough for me to get that information out of. You, why did you attack us? Who are you? We are the children of Thanos. He led us on a quest for glory. We fought and died by his side. His dreams are ours. But his dreams are as dead as he. No, he but rests. He promised us a new life and would not let down those who honor his name. For he is the master and is omnipotent. He shall return, and the day of blood and glory will at last be upon us. So we await his resurrection. So we have some real zealots here still working for Thanos, wanting to work for Thanos. And Mentor chides them and shows a display of power here. And he says, well, wait no more. For I've come to take his body home and plan to destroy this ark, this last testament of his insane villainy. So go, leave this place of evil and begin that new life Thanos promised you. Here, Mar-Vell is coughing. Cough. His death has freed you to do so. And he goes into coughing spasms here. I didn't see anyone lay a hand on him during the battle. I don't think anyone did. I'm all right now. What happened to you? Just a little winded. Great, you can see him using his cosmic senses, perhaps turning them inward here. Let's get Thanos back to Titan. Mar-Vell, I'd like to run you through a metascan on the computer Isaac when we return home. Any objections? No, but I'm afraid Isaac will only be able to confirm what I already suspect. What do you mean? You forget my power. Cosmic awareness can be turned inward. Again, I love the way Starlin here shows Mar-Vell turning his cosmic power inward and wielding it as his cosmic awareness. My body has no secrets I cannot unravel. Then there is something wrong? Perhaps Isaac's Metacenter can be of some aid. Perhaps, but I doubt it. Examination, analyzation, computation, diagnosis. You were right. Isaac confirms the finding of your cosmic senses. I'm sorry. I was sure my senses were right. I detected the disease a couple of weeks ago. I've studied a mountain of medical volumes searching for a cure for my particular problem and failed. I've not asked for your help before because I've been unable to voice my fear. I can understand that. It's a terrible disease. We on Titan call it the inner decay. You Kree have named it the Black End. Earthmen call it cancer. Isaac also gives a negative prognosis. But we on Titan have had very little experience with this problem. Our environment is very unpolluted. How much time does Isaac give me? About 3 months. I just can't understand how this could happen to you. It was about 7 years ago. I was back on Earth. There was this thief called Nitro who had stolen a canister of nerve gas from the United States Army. During our battle, the glass canister broke open and its deadly contents threatened thousands of lives in the area. I had no choice. I had to reseal the tank with my bare hands. I realize now the nerve gas acted as a carcinogen in my body. The moment it touched me, I began to die. In fact, I probably should have died years ago. I believe the photonic power of my Negaband wristlets grant me has fought off the cancer for a long time now. But the remission period is over. The disease resumes its march to darkness. We of Titan will do anything we can to help you, whatever you need. I love that skull, that death skull in his eyeball there. Really nice touch. Who knows? Here we go. This balloon starts this sequence here. I'll have Isaac beam out all available data on your condition to all planetary governments that we're in contact with. Who knows? One of them may have come across your particular type of cancer in the past and have a cure for it. What about your people? Perhaps? No. War has always been the Kree Empire's chief preoccupation. They've never had the spare time or resources needed to find a cure for the Black End. They're a lot like Earth in that respect. Have you any plans? I mean, terminal disease fighting is a little out of my league. I'm a warrior, not a doctor. And then down here, Mentor asks, does Elysius know? Elysius is Captain Marvel's love interest. No, not yet. Great panel here, the use of color and shadow, shrouding him, giving him almost a death-like appearance here, a skull-like appearance at the bottom of his face. Really cool. It's just that I remember how I felt when Una died. I remember the pain, the emptiness, the long endless nights, the tears. This is not the legacy I wish to leave Elysius. I was hoping something would pop up, or that I'd wake up and find it all a bad dream. But miracles and miracle cures are the food of fools, ridiculous opiates that blind one to his duties and responsibilities. You will excuse me, Mentor. I have things I must take care of. So here is Elysius, below in the royal gardens. And this panel here, this page with this series of wordless panels is tremendous. As Mar-Vell sits down next to her with Mentor watching from above and tells her of his terminal diagnosis. And Mentor leaves them to their grief together. Captain Marvel here, again, in this autobio tape number 2 for the Avengers Files. So here he relates his relationship to the Kree Supreme Intelligence, and finally his link up with Rick Jones, how the two were bound together for so long. But our strange relationship allowed me to learn so many things about my new home, Earth, that I would never have realized alone. Rick and I became close friends. But Rick wasn't the only Earthlings I came to know. There were also the Avengers. I usually worked alone, but occasionally I found myself by their side, and I'm glad I did. I love when Jim Starlin draws the Avengers. So cool. They proved to be good comrades, and the stars only know how many times we needed each other's help. It's a dark universe out there with many a danger and nearly as many enemies. So here we get a tremendous page with Starlin showing Captain Marvel's extensive rogues gallery, like everyone he tangled with. Very cool. I'll just name a few because it's just so fun to look at this page. It's so great. I'd love to see this at full size when Starlin drew it. There's the Stranger, Drax, the Kree Sentry, the Super Skrull, the Super Adaptoid, who in Captain Marvel number 50 was responsible for freeing Captain Marvel's symbiosis with Rick Jones. He freed the two inadvertently. It was a great story, one I'll probably cover here. That's Mercurio, an obscure 70s villain. The Controller, Thing. There's Nitro down at the bottom, very cool. I'm not sure who this walking head is. That's the physical manifestation of the Supreme Intelligence, the Supremor. Just a lot of great characters in this particular spread here. Really cool. Looks great. Nihilus up in the corner there. Jaguaro, I think, maybe. Iron Man. But the one foe I'm glad I stood against also proved to be the most formidable, the mad warlord of Titan, Thanos. And this tells all about Thanos' quest to destroy the solar system. This is all pre-Infinity War, all pre-Infinity Gauntlet. So this is Thanos post-Warlock, but still kind of in his nascent stages as one of Marvel's preeminent supervillains. And of course, in this story, he's dead. So there's no thought of him coming back at this point. But we get a relation of what happened in Avengers Annual, I think it was Avengers Annual number 7, and Marvel Team Up Annual. And I forget the number of that one. But this relates the fight against Thanos, where Warlock, who is slain by Thanos, comes back and petrifies him, slaying Thanos in the end. Great sequence here. Starlin reimagining that fight scene between Thanos, Thor, and the Avengers, and the Thing decked here on the ground. Really cool. Shortly after the Thanos affair, I was able to escape from the negative zone. That's the events of Captain Marvel number 50. We went our separate ways then. Rick left to pursue his music career, and I returned to the only life I ever known of the warrior. And I returned to the only life I've ever known, that of the warrior. It's been a couple of years since I've seen Rick. I wanted to let him get on with his life together without my shadow getting in his way. But I realize now that I must locate and talk to him as soon as possible. His life may depend on it. So Mar-Vell is going to seek out Rick Jones, who's on Earth, obviously, here practicing his music on a rooftop. Rick Jones. Who? Cap. You know, I think you've actually gotten better since the last time I heard you sing, and you were terrific then. Boy, it's good to see you, Marv. How you doing? Not so well, Rick. In fact, that's what I've come to see you about. I want you to head over to Avengers Mansion tomorrow morning. I've arranged for Dr. Blake to give you a complete physical checkup. Checkup? And as an aside, Dr. Blake was Thor's alter ego at the time, Don Blake, the lame doctor. Don't tell me you've come all the way from Titan just to make sure I'm taking care of my health. What's going on here, Marv? So he tells Rick Jones what happened with Nitro, basically. Is this some kind of joke? I wish it were. But what about you? You're getting some kind of treatment, aren't you? Yes, Mentor has begun giving me radiation treatments. And if those fail, he's devised a form of chemotherapy for me to try. But the trouble is, I'm Kree. My biological system is different than someone from Titan or Earth. Because of this, Isaac only gives me a 0.09% chance for recovery without help from Kree medical scientists. And the Kree Empire is not about to help save the life of one they consider a traitor. I'm afraid it doesn't look too good for me. So Rick Jones is pretty angry, sort of in denial, and storms out, as he is always wont to do. He's kind of always been an impetuous character, and he's true to form here. Rick, I'm sorry, I can't help it. And here Mar-Vell is telling Elysius about what happened. I just don't understand him. He was so angry, as if he were mad at me for having cancer. Rick's an orphan, isn't he? Of course, all his life, people have been leaving him behind. First, his parents died. Then, for a while, he was partnered with the Hulk and later Captain America. Neither team ever really worked out. Now I'm leaving him behind too. Poor Rick. I guess it really is harder on those you leave behind. I'm sorry, Elysius. So am I, Mar. Come sit a while. You know, I've been thinking a lot lately. Of all the people I've met in my lifetime, I've made quite a few friends along the way. I also keep remembering Adam Warlock. I was with him when he died. His was a hard and sad life, filled with pain and confusion. When death came for him, he welcomed it as a friend. I'll not do so. I've enjoyed this life. It's had its bad moments, but it's had far more good moments. I'm going to miss it. So very cool reflection. And I love how Starlin uses his other favorite character, Warlock, to kind of comment on the nature of this character, Captain Marvel. Really nice. Half a solar system away, Earth. Once again, New York City. Only this time, the setting is an impressive Manhattan mansion owned by Tony Stark. So we're at Avengers Mansion. So Rick has gathered the Avengers here to find a cure for cancer, basically. I don't think you understand the complexities of cancer research. This is a problem hundreds of research scientists have been working on for decades. It's true, we're good at what we do, but cancer research is something completely new to us. What I think the Beast is trying to say is, don't expect any miracles. After all, we're human. Well, at least most of us are. Oh, I see. I get it. In other words, you'd like to help, but it's not good business taking on anything it doesn't look like you can lick. Bad for the old reputation. Rick, wait, you don't understand. And the Beast is a world-renowned biochemist. Black Panther's a scientist. Obviously, Hank Pym's a biochemist. Tony Stark is an engineer, Iron Man. Thor has Don Blake, his alter ego. So they're all equipped to do this, or at least take a stab at it. A door slams, and a room full of the world's most powerful beings falls silent. But it isn't the irrational outburst of a youth in pain that so humbles them. For if Rick Jones had remained, he would have learned that all within that room had already arranged to go to Titan to work with Mentor in finding a cure for Marvel's malady. No, that which has so subdued them is a common question they each ask themselves. Why? Why haven't we used our genius abilities and powers to stamp out this dreaded killer before this? Each has his own answer. Each finds his own answer unsatisfactory. Great way in just one big panel here for Jim Starlin to ask a question that many comic fans have asked over the years. Why don't these heroes with all these powers, abilities, and wealth stamp out social ills like cancer? The days turn into weeks, and the word spreads throughout the galaxy. A hero is dying. Once again, the darkness claims the light. The universe is soon to be a little emptier. The news is received with mixed feelings. Here we have the Skrull Empire, shock and dismay, joyous triumph, restrained passivity. Some remember him as a friend. Others he was a comrade, and still to others he meant even more. But all feel the loss. We have a great shot of the Defenders here in the corner. For he is Captain Marvel. Isaac has been receiving data transmissions from all over the galaxy. Many worlds have found a way to beat this killer cancer. But Isaac has been examining and testing each cure as it comes in and has found none of them can help my particular case, right? Yes, but every bit of data we get is another step toward finding a way to help you. So they go on to discuss what's going on. And here, Marvel has a special request of Eros, who would become Star Fox later in the Avengers. I'm glad I ran into you. I've been wanting to ask something of you. Sure, what do you need? Someone I can depend on. I've known for a long time how you feel about Elysius. Marvel, I know, Eros, and it's not important now. Chances are that in a short time, I'll be gone, dead. Elysius is going to need someone she can talk to confide in, trust. She's going to need a friend. I can't think of anyone who would be better at it than you. Will you? Of course. Thanks. Really touching panel here of Eros crying. So here we have another reflection back on how Marvel met Elysius and how she was once his enemy, but then they became friends and then lovers. It would have been a good life, Elysius. I'm sorry. I wish... pain. Overwhelming pain. It burns. It tears. It twists and bends. It kills. It kills slowly, a little piece at a time, and then it fades. Yes, the pain comes and it goes. Damn! This is an awesome panel here, just showing that he's still Captain Marvel, even though he's being eaten away by cancer. Alien invaders, supervillains, monsters, mutants, they all tried, but none of them could kill me. I fought them all in one. I survived. Who would have thought, in the end, it'd be my own body that would turn on me and do me in? It's hard to accept that the world is going to go on without me. Damn. So here, Mentor resolves he's got to try to solve the problem. He doesn't want Marvel to die. No one does. Our every move is blocked by the same insurmountable obstacle. Marvel's negabands. So we have Doctor Strange here also working on the problem because Stephen Strange was a real doctor, a skilled surgeon. We have Reed Richards involved as well. These wristlets charge his body with photonic energy that kept his cancer in check all these years. But during that time, his disease has mutated, gained an immunity to those photonic energies. As the cancer spread, the captain's body came to depend more and more on the Negaband's power to sustain life. Now it's gotten to the point where I doubt Mar-Vell could live more than a few hours without those wristlets. The trouble is, those photonic powers also block or dissipate any efforts we make at getting to the disease. We've tried everything from radiation to sorcerer's spells, and nothing seems to work. In other words, the one thing that's keeping Mar-Vell alive is also keeping us from curing him. A bitter irony there. Father, it's Mar-Vell. He's collapsed. We've taken him to the East Wing's master chamber. Gentlemen, our time is short. Let us make every moment count. So Mar-Vell is abed now. The long, hard vigil that all lovers fear begins. She weeps. He joins her. But finally, even that ship is granted clearance once certain guarantees of proper conduct are assured by a passenger on board. So we have all these people coming to Titan for this final vigil. And we get another awesome full page in this book. And we see a pretty incredible array of heroes here. They are the family of Superman. Theirs is the task of protecting a universe they call home. Many have fought beside Mar-Vell. A few have fought against him. But now all think of him as a brother who is dying. They've come to Titan to say goodbye to one of their own. Pretty awesome here. Power Man and Iron Fist up there in the rafters. Pretty cool. How's he holding up, Arrows? Any chance? Captain America says. Well, as you know, he's too far along for any operation to do any good. And my father's and your friends have had no luck finding an alternative cure. So I'm afraid it's only a matter of time. But I'm sure he'll be glad to see you all. I think he misses the Earth. Not half as much as Earth is going to miss him. I'll go check on him. Elysius is with him now. So after that, I just drifted around until I came to Titan. You know, that's the most frustrating part of this whole business of death. There's so much I don't know about you and so little time left me to find it all out. Yes, much too short a time. But the time we've had has been good. I've never loved anyone as I have you. I feel the same, but I never dreamt it would end like this for us. But perhaps this way is best. I always figured you would go before I did. Your type of lifestyle doesn't lend itself to longevity. But I feared your end would be violent, so I dreaded you dying alone on some distant planet surrounded by enemies. At least this way I can be with you to the end. I want to share every moment of life with you I can squeeze out. I hope that doesn't sound too selfish. No, not at all. I think it's beautiful. Excuse me, there are some folks from Earth who would like to see you. Are you up to visitors? From Earth? Rick? And then we have this panel here. Treatment nullified by photonic interference, prognosis negative. Another failure. Every avenue we explore on Isaac's meta-simulator is blocked by that blasted photonic energy. There must be some way to get around it. Yes, but how? Perhaps a combination of treatments? Wonder Man suggests. Here, Thing is, we're back in Mar-Vell's room, and Thing is relating a story. And then, just when I thought I'm about to lay him out for the count, Mar-Vell yanks this power cable off the walls and zaps me. I tell you, Elysius, this is one tough cookie you got. Ain't that right, Spidey? I mean, sure, please excuse me. Spidey, what the? Ben, let him go. Death touches us all in different ways. Some feel it's passing. Some barely feel it's passing. Others, it strikes right in the face. Spidey, are you all right? Yeah, sure. Just a little shaken. It's all just a bit too much. So Spider-Man and Beast have a nice back and forth here about dealing with death and mortality in the superhero ranks. And Rick Jones shows up. Do I grab a number or something? No, you just walk right in. He's been waiting for you. Rick, you came. Of course I came. We're partners, aren't we? This is where I belong. But I tell you, it wasn't easy. Did you ever try hitching from Earth to Titan? Luckily, I got a lift from Cap and Herc. What I'm trying to say is, I'm sorry I've been such a fool. It's all right, Rick, I understand. But you're here now. That's all that matters. We're together again, just like the old days. They're going to want to be alone for a while, the Thing says as he and Human Torch exit to leave them to themselves. Sometime later, hello, can we come in? Drax the Destroyer, and Moondragon? By Hala, Drax, it's been a long time. How have you been? Better than ever. Heather, Moondragon, and I have been traveling, getting to know each other, learning to live with our universe. How are you faring? Pretty well, considering the circumstances. There's pain in that uncertainty and the fear. So they go back and forth. Drax, who's been dead before and been brought back by the larger cosmic powers of the Marvel Universe to battle Thanos, sort of knows a little bit about dying. Captain Marvel, I'd like to present to you General Zedreo. It's a Skrull! Rick, you can put that bottle down. The General is here on an official affair of state. He has assured me that his mission is peaceful, and my presence guarantees it. Captain Marvel, I greet you in the name of the Imperial Skrull Empire. I am here not because you are our enemy, but because you have always been our greatest enemy. No being in the entire galaxy has ever faced our armed might so bravely or thwarted our plans as many times as you have. You are quite possibly the greatest warrior who ever walked the stars. We Skrulls are a martial race and have long respected your skills, deeds, and courage, though you are our foe. That is why I have come by order of the Imperial Council to present you with this. It's the Royal Skrull Medal of Valor. I salute you, Captain. May your passing be swift and your afterlife reward great. How do you like that, Rick says. The Skrulls, your worst enemies, give you a medal. But what do your own people do to honor you? Zip, nothing. I've lost track of how many times you got their fat out of the fire. But in the end, I turned on the Kree Empire, Rick. I'm on the Supreme Intelligence's blacklist. They don't give medals to traitors. But it all seems so unfair. I don't know about that, Rick. I may be ignored by an ungrateful homeworld, but I've a good woman who I love by my side. I've also many friends any man would value. So let the Kree keep their silly medals and honors. Who needs them? Night falls upon Titan. Really nice transition panel here. I love it with this color here. And finds that for some days work continues. Father, I've bad news. Mar-Vell has fallen into a coma. We're too late. We have failed you, Captain Marvel. Look at the grim visage here. Just brilliant work by Starlin here. Just totally awesome. Midnight. Everyone's gathered around. He was the best among us. I would have given anything to have saved him. It's all so unfair. So unfair. So, that with those words, unfair, transitioning, we see Captain Marvel's unconscious face transition into the visage of Thanos, which is really cool. In a sub-basement tomb in the midst of death, life, he hears the call and must answer one last task. Up towards the palace levels he climbs. As he goes, a strange metamorphosis occurs. Down familiar wood-paneled halls he stalks. At last he stops. The silent royal bedchamber beckons like the death he loves. His goal lies within. Nothing must stand in his way. Nothing. Great panel there of Thanos bursting into the room. Who? Thanos. How? You're supposed to be dead. So I am. And it would appear that you are soon to join me in that state. It pains me to see you so. Frail, ill-decayed, slowly withering away. I've always had great respect for you, Mar-Vell. You have always been my greatest foe, my arch nemesis. For one such as you, death should not come gnawing like some vermin. For you, death should be a glorious event. He tears Mar-Vell's sheets away, and suddenly he is Captain Marvel again. I'm whole again. The greatest minds of the universe have labored for months trying to save me, but they failed, and then you just come along and wave your hand, and I'm well again? How? Why? Because I am Thanos, who is death and the lover of death. I have returned from the darkness for one last magnificent battle with you. The room is changing. Where? Come, follow me, and behold the heart of your universe. It is the soul of your reality. It pumps life's blood of your existence. It is all you love, and it's about to be denied to you. Why? Because I am Thanos, and because you are Captain Marvel. Your job is to try and stop me. Will you? Then stop you I will, madman. So they have a great cosmic battle here that unfolds over the next couple of pages. Marvel again appearing to be at the peak of his powers. Thanos in his old corporeal form, unpetrified, bringing up these crazy spirits and ghosts from Mar-Vell's past. And this awesome panel. Love the colors here. Love these greens, these teals, contrasting with Marvel's costume. And another awesome full-page panel here is these ghosts take on solid form and Mar-Vell battles them, a selection of some of his previous foes. Thanos striking him. An awesome panel here. Never. Obstinate, isn't he? Very, this disembodied head says. So you refuse to acknowledge death's kind mercy, but even you must accept its inevitability. Why should I? Because its nature is universal. You may strive against it. You may even close a few doors to it, but in the end, nothing can hold its cool touch. It is shadow, it is wind, it is inescapable and unrestrainable. No, I refuse to accept that. As long as there is life, there is hope. There is nothing in the universe that I cannot overcome. Would you challenge the abstract? Would you deny the infinite? Yes. Then be prepared to find that your victories are the stuff of dreams, illusions. And here he shatters Thanos with a punch. But he's reformed. And finally, Marvel begins to realize what's going on here. But the contest is over, and she comes for you. Are you ready for her? As ready as I guess I'll ever be. She is the bridge to eternity. Her caress is peace. Do not fear her, for she is merely that which awaits us all. It is not that I fear her, it's just that I no longer need the illusion. What a sequence here. He waves his hand, and this beautiful visage of death is now transformed into something very real and very final. And she kisses Mar-Vell here. Thanos watches. So it ends. And we see Marvel's heart stop beating. Is that all there is to it? A kiss, and I'm beyond the veil? I expected more. There is more. It awaits us. Take her hand. She will lead us on our journey. She will show us that this is not the end, only the beginning. And they walk into the infinite beyond. And back in our real world, in reality, Marvel flatlines. And Mentor turns the monitor off and covers him. He's gone. And we see here this beautiful last page with the memorial to Captain Marvel, his final resting place. Just incredibly touching stuff here. And we get the back cover. This is a cover from a previous reprinting of The Death of Captain Marvel. Nice that they included that. This is The Death of Captain Marvel 1994 cover by Jim Starlin. Nice one there too, really cool. So yeah, that was the death of Captain Marvel. Just a pretty spectacular story. I was glad to share it with you all here on the show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Comment below. Let me know if you read this story before, what you thought of it. But I'll be sure to bring you more soon on Scott Reads Comics. Thanks for watching.